I want to start by asking what attracts you to a certain project.
I've thought a lot about this question because I ask myself it, and this is the answer I've come up with, is that there's this feeling you have when you're young and you read something really beautiful or something that touches you or something that makes you laugh or something that you think is beautiful and you want to share it with your friends. That's the feeling.
The Before trilogy and Boyhood, they're all films about time. So how does the passage of time changes how the work is perceived?
Boyhood and the Before trilogy, the main character is time, you could say. That time is the event of the films, how time shapes us, how we are shaped by time. Time is a very difficult thing to photograph, you know. I mean, it's always moving, and sometimes I think we're tricked into believing that our lives have a beginning, middle, and an end, like a story that's very clearly told. This happens, and then that happens, so that happened. In truth, life seems to happen more in circles, you know, whether it's a circulatory system or planets orbiting, or to me, more and more, I feel like my life moves in circles and that the straight narrative is kind of a lie. And so Richard's movies happen in circles.
Well, you've done quite a lot of good sci-fi films like Gattaca and Predestination. So what's your relationship to the genre, and do you have a favorite?
You know, my favorite is always Kurt Vonnegut. That's my favorite science fiction writer, but Philip K. Dick is pretty great too, and Robert Heinlein wrote Predestination.
What is it? It's a time machine. Don't ever exceed the jump limit.
Gattaca was very influential to me as a young person. Those are two of my favorite films I've ever made, Predestination and Gattaca. And I think the reason why the Spirig brothers who made Predestination cast me is because they loved Gattaca. I like science fiction because very rarely do people want to challenge the way they're used to thinking. And science fiction does it in a fun way, whether it's Star Trek or whether it's Twilight Zone, whatever, but it challenges the way you think.
And you also play the piano, you've also direct, like the documentary Seymour and Introduction is about the legendary pianist. So can you elaborate more on that?
Well, I love music, and I feel that one of the things that happened to me when I turned 40 is I realized that there's a tremendous amount of energy when we're young given to educating us. And that, you know, we look to young people and we kind of educate them to how to be an adult. And then you become an adult and there's very little energy put to how to keep growing, how to become an older person, how to become an elder of your community, you know, that you're kind of, you're taught how to grow up, but then your teaching kind of stops.
Music and life interact. Through its language, we become one with the stars. Now here comes one of the biggest...
And one of the things that I find beautiful about the life of pianists, piano players, is that they know you can never be good enough. You can always keep growing. I want to keep learning. And so when I met Seymour Bernstein, and I found in him a teacher. And so I think I made that documentary as a way to spend time with him. Because in learning how to play the piano well, there are secrets to how to do anything well.
You know, you're also greatly involved in stage performances. So can you tell us more about that?
I mean, see, for me, acting on stage is wonderful because there's less manipulation involved. You have a direct relationship to your audience. Whereas often when I do a movie, I'll get upset when I see the final cut because I can't understand why they used that take or why they cut that scene. And by cutting that scene, they've robbed the movie of the most important essence of the character. And you just don't control it, and it's very frustrating to the actor. The stage is much more an actor's medium. You know, they say that film is a director's medium. You have a lot of power as to how to communicate with the audience. It's very exciting. In film, it's different.